Well, if there was ever a jumbo recording coming up, an episode of Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor, I think it's this morning, Razor. It's not like you were a certain person on this podcast that was slacking a little bit. You were working for a couple of days. I had a little work, nowhere near the amount you did. Welcome back to the NHL, my friend, after spending the NCAA's regionals sequestered pretty much. That's what it is.
That's exactly what it is.
But you got through it, and you've got yourself a really good Frozen Four. A really good Frozen Four. That is in 2 weeks. I always forget that for some reason. They take a week off, then they get back. Welcome to Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. Bruins win the last 3 in a row. Last we talked, Razor, we got together after that wonderfully awful Toronto game. Remember that? Doesn't that performance seems like 2 years ago?
Yeah. It's crazy how fast this is going.
I know. And yet they come through that after that. And what we, as a Boston Bruin nation, not just here at Morning Brew, but looked at as a really kind of a nail-biting, very season-defining moment, right? The next 3 games coming up. You had back-to-back in Buffalo, right? Mm-hmm. And then you had back-to-back after a couple days off. Saturday, Sunday, home mini against one of the best in the league. And then Columbus, one of the hottest in the league. And all they do is go 3-0. So while you were watching it from afar with one eye on it and everything, I don't want to say, could you believe what you saw, but kind of like, for hyperbolic sake, could you believe what you saw when it was all said and done?
Well, of course, the Columbus one, but I think we'd said too that they were due for a big comeback win. Every team that was in the playoff run has had one. Pittsburgh had it against them. Columbus has done it numerous times. So the Islanders everyone's done it. So that was great that they did it against Columbus too, to put them behind, do it against a team that matters. Listen, this team's been resilient all year. They haven't lost 2 games in regulation in forever. Maybe October. They continue to find ways. We said after the Leaf game that it was horrible, but if you win tomorrow night, it goes away. It doesn't matter. And they did that. Minnesota, it's funny. These West Coast teams are coming to the East and they're getting smoked.
Yeah.
They might not be as good as we think they are. And the East might really be as good as it looks like it is. It really might be. So yeah, it's certainly never would have put them at 3-0. Would have been more than happy to go 2-1 or 1-1-1. Like any of those things would have kept them in the playoffs. And instead they put some distance between themselves, like really good distance with just 8 and 9 games left.
Yeah, I mean, they're in a very favorable spot. I am not ready to anoint them in, just given how crazy the East has been.
Yeah.
But I know
the other teams only have 2 losses now. They only have 2 losses.
Right, they have 2 losses to wiggle.
They gotta like Ottawa can't lose more than 2 games. It's
right,
and that's if the Bruins give them help.
Right, you've whittled it down, which is great. But given I don't want to call it the shit show in a bad way, but the crazy shit show that we've seen in the East this year, I'm not ready to say anything. I saw a nugget online on social media. The Atlantic Division, the last 10 games, I didn't confirm this, which is always scary because I should know this better. Tampa 7-1-2, Buffalo 6-2-2, Montreal 7-3-0, Boston 6-2-2, and Ottawa 6-3-1. But the 6-3-1, those extra points that the Bruins have over Ottawa, that's huge right there. But the point is the Atlantic Division can still it's amazing. We thought the Atlantic was going to be down the first quarter of the season and the Metropolitan was going to be the beast. It's changed. It's absolutely changed. I mean, the Atlantic is the beast again, despite not having Florida up the top there. Yeah. The beast is the least in the Atlantic, which is crazy, but their bodies are just banged up beyond belief. But it's just been what a crazy year. And your point about the Western teams coming to the East and playing the East, I mean, there's that, we always talked about teams going into the playoffs get hot because they're playing playoff style hockey the last month of the season or whatever it is, just to get in, right? We always fear those teams. Well, the whole freaking Eastern Conference has been playing playoff style hockey the last half of the year. Literally, it's been all the teams, the top 11, 12 teams have been playing quote unquote playoff style hockey. You might be right. These might be the best teams in the National Hockey League when all said and done.
I think, of course, Colorado in their lineup, but yeah, I think they are. And what's going to be amazing, what's going to be so great about the playoffs in the East, especially, there's not going to be a favorite in any of the series. There's going to be 4 teams that have home ice, but Carolina and Tampa and Buffalo, they're not going to be big favorites. They will be because they have the home ice in Game 7, but that's it. There's going to be, you're not going to be able to pick in between Carolina and Pittsburgh or Carolina and Columbus or the goaltending has all kinds of questions there. Yeah. You've got Tampa or Buffalo. Who's going to win the division? Bruins are as close to winning the division as they are getting out of the playoffs now. Like that, that's where they put themselves. They're 6 points out of the first place, just like they're 6 points ahead of Ottawa for the 8th spot.
So where do you want them to finish? I mean, I know I just want them to get in, right? We've been saying that. Is there an ideal spot for them to finish?
I mean, how great would Boston, Montreal be? That would be Boston, Montreal, Boston, Buffalo. Like that would be fun. Tampa would be great too because of
Tampa would be vicious. I think that series would be vicious.
Yeah.
Well, just like Boston, Florida was for years, right?
Yeah. And yeah, again, they're all gonna, they will be. So I'm not sure yet. I think the easiest out is Buffalo.
You're not, yeah, I was really looking at a lot of stuff last night and I was trying to figure, is that the easiest out or could they actually be one of the scariest teams just given that they're on the one hand, they're young, they haven't played in the playoffs, their goaltending, I think is good. I don't think it's great. We've seen Alex Lyon in the playoffs before get going, right? We've seen that, but does he have it in him again? Is it Ukko-Pekka in it? All that stuff. And then I'm thinking, these guys don't know what they're getting themselves into, right? They've had this unbelievable run, and now they get into the playoffs. And here's a question too for you. And I thought about this last night, and I was going to text you, but I didn't want to bother you because I knew that you were hockeyed out. But because of the condensed schedule this year, okay, and how effing crazy it's been, does this type of we always talk about how the regular season is 82 one-game series, basically, right?
Yeah.
And you hit teams, and how different playoff hockey is. Is this year even more extreme now, Razor? Given that condensed schedule was so freaking ludicrous that we should put less stock into the regular season. That was my question I had for you.
Yeah, I think so because, and we just saw it this weekend, like, how do you handicap the Columbus game when they both played the day before? The Bruins traveled, they came from behind, but how do you really handicap that? That's not all these back-to-backs, all these 3 and 4s. You'd have to really dig into the head-to-head matchups and see like who played each other when, like Buffalo. Right. How do you handicap Buffalo? They played after Christmas. Throw that game out. They played October 8th, throw that game out. And then even the game they just played, the Bruins had to travel. They played the night before. And then on the flip side, Buffalo had 4 days off from a California. Like, so how do you handicap? What are these teams? So yeah, I think I don't think the head-to-head matchups going into the playoffs, whoever the rounds are going to, you basically have to throw it out, or you have to dig really, really deep into scheduling and lineup at that time and who played who, etc. So I think this season's playoffs are going to be just as crazy as the regular season because we don't know what we're getting. We really don't. Even in the West with those 3 great teams, I don't necessarily believe in them as much as I might have a month and a half ago.
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but at least optically or anecdotally, as I like to say, we've had more significant volume of injuries this year too, given the hellacious schedule, And that's impacted teams, right? So as well, and impacted performance. And again, when do you hit a team? How many guys are in and out of the lineup, et cetera.
Yeah.
I know the regular season is very different always than the playoffs. That's why we love our playoffs so much. It goes to another level of sheer competitiveness and madness and everything. But I do think that this year it is going to be harder to really get a true vibe out of the regular season, given how frenetic it's been. It's been different than what I feel that I've seen in forever is a long time, but in a long time at the very least.
Yeah.
Just how condensed schedule it's been. So 3-0, again, after losing to Toronto in really a debacle of a game. But the thing I really found most interesting, and you did work the Buffalo game from the couch.
Yeah.
All 3 games, incredibly different personalities. All of them.
Yeah. Which again goes to what we just talked about for a couple minutes. Every game, right? Like every game is so different because of the scheduling.
So you get a 4-3 overtime win in Buff.
Yeah.
You then play Mini and have arguably the best first period of the season to begin, only to kind of hold on, not for dear life, but it got dicey there at 4-3. Why not, right? Minnesota showed some pride and some gumption in the third, but you hold on for that one. You get a couple of goals from Elias. You get Pavel continuing to be hot. Good goaltending. Again, great period. And then you go the last night into Columbus, and you have absolutely the worst period, perhaps arguably, of the season to begin. I mean, they looked awful.
Yeah.
They looked awful, except for Swayman. Could have been 5 or 6-0 after the first. And then you have this mega comeback. So you get these 3 completely completely freaking different appearances or performances from the team. And yet we say we don't care. The only constant or consistent, I think there were 2 things in my eyes, and you tell me if I'm wrong or right. Besides Swayman playing all 3, he was excellent all 3. That's 1. And 2, Pavel Zacha leading the way up front. Was there anything else that was consistent that you would say, hey, jackass, you forgot this? Because I'm sure there is.
Well, I didn't see enough of the Minnesota game, but I would add that, and they had a couple bad periods throughout. I guess just like the resiliency to just continue head down. They did in Buffalo. They came back there. They could have easily mailed it in when they gave up the 2 quick goals. They come back. Minnesota, Minnesota's going to push. They have the ability to score a couple. You give up a 5-on-3 goal in the third period. That's going to make things tight. By
the way, bad 5-on-3 play there by the Bruins, meaning taking those penalties, Razor. Again, I don't know how much you got to see, but not smart by Zador. Not smart by, you got to be smart there even by Husnadino. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, but to that, they worked through it. That's I guess that's the point. And that's been the marker with this team all year. And that's why they're where they're at. And that's why they're gonna be a tough out. They just will be.
Another consistent thing has been their faceoffs. And it's not minor because you never know when that one faceoff is going to lead to things, but over 50, I think 55, 56% in the 3 games. Now their faceoffs have been very good all year, given who they have, but just looking kind of inside the numbers, those last 3, hard to go through every game. I can tell you the power play, thankfully came through for them against Columbus. Still not looking good. They made some tweaks to it, some different personnel on units. So 2 power play goals in the last 3 games, both against Columbus, 4 power play goals against. Okay. Again, it's going to happen. I get it. It has been better than PK lately. Yeah. But let's continue to go to that theme about Pavel Zacha and his line mates. I mean, they've all been on the last 3. Pavel, 5 goals and 2 assists. Arvidsson, 2 goals, 4 assists. Middlestat, 1 goal, 3 assists. He had 3 assists against Mini in that game. And Pavel Zacha now has tied his career high in 59 points. Yeah. So in theory, he should set new career high and everything. He continues to completely impress. It's so cliche, but the puck is finding him, and he is just making things happen at the moment. That tip against Minnie, when the Bruins needed that goal, they're kind of scuffling a bit, and he just makes a gorgeous tip, was just outstanding. He gets the tip against Columbus, the goal there, beautiful. Where the hell was by the penalty killers, by the way? All four of them were like wide open, but Pavel with a beautiful redirection. Did he have a gorgeous redirection also? It was gorgeous direction against Minnesota. I just said it. So many goals. Can't remember them all. This guy is shining, and I put out on social media, I don't know if you saw it or not, just a little while ago. He's averaging 56 points now in under 4 full seasons with the Boston Bruins. He averaged 30 with the New Jersey Devils, Razor.
Yeah.
Completely different player.
Yeah, he's growing. He's in his prime now. He's growing into himself. He's found a perfect line mates this year. He's found a perfect place in how they play and what they expect of the center position, and the fact that the offense is chipping in, and it's just he's just an awesome hockey player. And all the tools that we saw the first day when he was moved here are starting to really come into place and really come together. And his confidence can't be ever have been higher. And he's a quiet guy, but you can tell that his confidence is brimming.
It's phenomenal to see. He's the kind of guy, if you get to know him just a little bit, that you just root for, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's the nicest person ever. He really is, like, at that great person level. You can tell he cares and is humble and prideful and all those things.
It's almost like when you talk with him, whether it's on camera or off camera, but in particular off camera. I mean, on camera, it's almost matter of fact, right? It's
it's a good interview.
Very polite, but it's very matter of fact. And yeah, okay. No. But even when you sit down next to him in the stall in the room and you're just shooting the shit with him, you'll get emotion out of him. You get warmth. I'm not saying he's not warm, but it's just kind of like, well, it's not that it's not a big deal. It's never about him, to your point about being humble. And it's just kind of like, yeah, well, this is what I should be doing. It's just kind of like, yeah. And it's so kind that you almost want to shake him and be like, holy shit, man, you're awesome.
Genuine. Yeah, it's genuine.
You're awesome. I'm fully raising my hand. Now, I've done it before about the line and the importance of it, Razor, but look, this team's going nowhere, both in regular season and in playoffs, though, if they don't continue to get this kind of meteoric kind of play from Arvidsson and Mittelstadt. This can't be a regular season thing.
Yeah,
it's nice here, but just the way that they play and where they're scoring their goals from makes me at least more confident that they can continue to bring it into play. I mean, I've been completely wowed by Arvidsson. Fully admit that I was hoping for 15 to 18 goals, but holy shit, I didn't expect this. I did not.
No, an unbelievable pickup again. General managers, pro scouts, we talk about it. For whatever reason, they sometimes get a hard go of it, but they picked another one. And Mittelstadt too, to his credit. I didn't know. Certainly the center position last year didn't work. Him going to, like, he's so good on the wall. They're so good at getting pucks out of their zone. They're so good defensively. That's really where it starts. They match up against the best lines all the time, and they're doing this 5-on-5 thing, playing against those teams or those lines. So it's their lines are so good right now that, like, everything's lined up so well with Minton and Husnudinov taking the jump that they've had to be able to play with David, allows to have Geeky, Lindholm, and now Reichel. And then the fourth line of, like, they press the right buttons and put guys in the right place. And now you can see the familiarity of the other three lines are outside of this second line being together every night for 70 games, 68 games now. Mm-hmm. It's really, really put everyone in a great slot.
Real quick, before we get to our sponsors here, the key that you said there, really good at getting pucks out of their zone, is what differentiates them from the other lines. I don't have the numbers, and I'll try to get them before next Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. I'm assuming Sports Logic has them. Their ability to break pucks out is significantly better, I think, than the other lines. Now, again, I don't know if the numbers Razor will support that, but the amount of chances they get off the rush, and I would say the amount of clear, at least cleaner, maybe not fully clean, but cleaner breakouts that they have, is and so different.
Yeah, and again, that goes to Pavel Zacha. That's the center position.
I think so, but also
and the other guys are good. Don't get me wrong, but it comes down to the center position, right? Like that's what the center does in his own zone to clean things up and give time and space. The wingers are great on the walls; they get good sticks, but the center and again, Pavel Zacha.
Yeah, and no question it starts there, and it's great. But because of that, all of them, but yes, because of that, they get more chances off the rush than the other line. Now, they listen to their coach the most too and get the pucks deep the most of all of them too. I know the fourth line does as well, but they don't see the amount of ice time, etc. And their puck retrieval has been real good. So just been outstanding to watch. Let's mention our sponsors right here, and then we still got a bunch of stuff to get to, including you mentioned the fourth line. Well, we got to talk Kastelic and Jeannot and their impact in the Columbus game. I want to talk McAvoy and his meteoric play, his point totals, etc. A little Pasternak too. But first, we're going to talk about Sunset Lake CBD. We're going to start with them today. If you go to their website, which is a wonderful website, and you use the code, if you use the code BRU20, BRU20, you're going to get 20% off their entire site. I can tell you, Cy was watching the game last night. Our guy Cy, absolutely loving it, and talking about or texting about the Bruins' heart. He's a huge hockey fan, and we're huge fans of theirs because of the products they have. Whether it is their tinctures or their gummies or just their CBD products, they got so many different types. They also have got sticks for aches and pains, rubs that you can put on. Their products are great. They're all natural. They're made all up in Vermont. And they're the type of products that we are proud to support. I use them regularly. Razor, you've used them different times too. To me, they're very important. Visit sunsetlakecbd.com/morningbrew. And again, use the code BRU20 for 20% off site-wide. Awesome products, and their customer service is fantastic. Customer service also fantastic at Fazenda Coffee. It's a theme for all of our sponsors that we are lucky enough to have, is they're all about great people and great customer service. FazendaCoffee.com/morningbrew. You can go there for the brew blend, the hats, and they still got a couple of travel canteens left. People have been asking about the mugs. I'll give you a chuckle. I'm thinking about it, but maybe we'll wait.
I don't think so. I need the mugs.
The mugs are great, though.
All over your house.
They're all absolutely. We'll be shipping them left and right. Go to FazendaCoffee.com. Boston specialty coffee roaster. So many different type of blends and brews, and they'll even grind it for you. But all their stuff is whole bean and fresh. They'll ship it to you all around the country. Just awesome people there. Check out Pete over at FazendaCoffee.com/morningbrew. And again, great customer service. Will answer every question that you have. If you want customer service for your automobiles, you got to count on Copeland like Razor does. Razor, you go there regularly to get your cars either purchased or serviced. You count on Copeland. I count on Todd Copeland as well. Todd Copeland right now is incredibly happy. The Michigan Wolverines in the Frozen Four, the Michigan basketball team in the NCAAs, and it's just a good time to be Todd Copeland, right? You can count on Copeland and his cars too, right, Razor?
He's been watching a lot of sports, especially this weekend, I'm sure. They're the best down there. They are the best. They love sports. They love hockey, and you can talk to any of those guys down there or women.
Copeland Toyota, Chevrolet, and Subaru. Go to countoncopeland.com to check out all the new and used cars that they have, and as Razor says, you can go have a good time talking to them about hockey, especially there. Let's do a spark. Let's wrap up our sponsors here. Let's do a spark of the week. You want to do that? You want to do? There's the overtime goal against Buffalo, which was good. Although I think, Razor, in fairness, would you agree? if that goal was scored on a Bruins goaltender, we'd say, you'd like a save there. The Zacha threw the 5-hole on Ukko-Pekka Luukka, not to take it away from him.
Yeah.
What'd you think? Would you?
Yeah,
agree?
I'm sure. Well, the Bruins goalies get hammered about everything. So yeah, of course they're going to get right. They give up one goal, they get hammered. So yeah, they would get hammered for that.
All right, so we won't give that.
I was thinking the 6-on-5. I think that the 6-on-5 is always the best for me.
Okay, all right.
I thought that would like to get that point. Again, the Buffalo game, they got the point. If they had went 1-0-2, I would have been pumped about these. I would be talking the same way in these games. So the 6-on-5 for me was the real clincher of the week.
All right. Let's give that the spark of the game. Sparkshockey.com, the place to check out the finest at-home skate sharpener that money can buy. So there's that. I was going to go the Swayman route because he started all three. And he provided sparks for them at many times. We give the offense a lot of credit, rightfully so. But I agree with you about the 6-on-5. That was fun. The amount of puck battles that they won on the 6-on-5, little things. They swarmed.
Yep.
They had sticks above and below the puck, bodies above and below, and their sticks were on the ice, and they got pucks back. I think it was 3 times, Razor, that they did that. Huge. Can't be looked past right there.
Yeah. No, they just wanted it more. That's the name of the game, especially this time of year and of course in April.
So again, that's our spark of the game. Thank you to Sparks Hockey. All right, let's go to the fourth line. Let's go to the moment in the game that guys on the broadcast talked about. Everybody else was buzzing about on social media. First, Tanner Jeannot with Eric Goodbranson. And then Mark Kastelic with Mathieu Olivier. 2 heavyweight bouts. I mean, holy shit.
Yeah.
Jeannot, I haven't had a chance to ask Tanner about this because we haven't seen him. Jeannot and Olivier were teammates for a while with the National Predator Organization. They're pretty good buddies.
Yeah.
It's not like good buddies haven't fought before in the National Hockey League, right? I mean, we've seen heavies go at it before too, but it can't be that easy, Razor. I don't know if you have a story or a moment that you remember guys that were real good buddies that either did or didn't go, but
not like I'm sure guys have. I'm sure I know 1 or 2 that it's happened, but not at that level. And like these guys do something that no one else can do. Like I'm always hesitant to and very, very aware not to understate what those guys have to do
shit.
And how they have to do that and flippant. I get sometimes, right? And I know you hear it too. People get flippant in the media about these fights. And they get flippant about like how they just go out and do it and don't think about all the buildup and the anxiety and the mental capability to do that out on the ice for your team. You're not doing that for yourself. Like that is completely selfless to do both of those jobs on a Sunday afternoon at around 5:30 in the afternoon. Your team's down 3-0. Nothing's going right. And that's your job now. And for them to do that is it's commendable. It's very, very commendable. And it's why the Bruins are hard to play against. They went out and got these 2 guys, Kastelic a year ago, Jeannot just this season, and it's changed the complexion. It really has. Columbus, Montreal, and the Bruins are the only 3 teams that have 2 guys with a couple other kicking around that can do that and change the tenor of games with your hands.
Just quickly on Mark Kastelic, you bring up that, and I think we've mentioned this in the past, but it's worth getting to again. There was a lot of stuff talked about. Remember when the Linus Ullmark trade happened?
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. It was horrible. How'd they do that?
Right. All that shit. Right. And one of the players brought over, it's obviously Mark Kastelic. Well, Kastelic had I'd call a solid season last year. Got hurt a couple of times, which very unfortunate. Doing this exact thing, as you said, that is so effing tough to do. I mean, I couldn't imagine it. Just couldn't.
Yeah.
But when Cam Neely talked about piss and vinegar for this team, that was one of the guys that he was looking to, not just for fighting, but just for the overall mentality, right? So he has helped reestablish Boston Bruins identity along with Tanner Jeannot.
Yeah. Well, and let's add Tanner in that too, because people are going crazy about the deal, right? Oh, 5 years. Why'd they do? Like, what are they doing? These guys, look at what they've done to change this. They're now the Bruins of everybody's glory years, whether that's the 70s, the 80s, or the 11s. That's what they are again, and that's the DNA of this organization. And they went out and got the guy that they needed to get. And again, everybody who complained about that deal is very quiet right now.
Mark Kastelic leads the NHL with 10 fights. He had 2 in a row, right? He fought Saturday against McCarron. Back to back. That's a 6'6" mammoth human being. And then he elects to go with Olivier, the aforementioned Matthew Olivier, who
he's up the lion too.
Oh my God.
He's the alpha in the league.
Tanner and him, I think, are the alphas.
Yep.
And again, they're like I remember talking, I think I told you this on our show probably a month ago when Columbus was in town. And I was talking to somebody, I was talking to Charlie Coyle about Tanner or whatever, and actually about dogs, because of Tanner's dogs or whatever. And Matthew Olivier overheard it. He's sitting right next to Charlie, and he said, "Oh, Tanner's first dog," I remember the name, "isn't doing well," or whatever. And you could see the connection there. They spent a lot of time together on the bench, meaning together in the locker room, on the bench, on the ice, probably shadow boxing or fighting, mock fighting on the ice, whatever, helping each other out.
Yep.
So the fact that they didn't go didn't surprise me at all. I wasn't putting it past, given that I know that Tanner will do anything, and same thing for Matthew if they had to for their team. But it worked out that there were other combatants to go with. I will tell you this. I know Eric Goodbranson has fought a lot in the league. He did really well against Tanner Jeannot too. I mean, he's an huge animal, man.
Yeah, he's an absolute monster.
He is.
Monster. He works. Yeah, I've seen him in the gym. It's different.
Yeah, now he hasn't maybe fought as much. By the way, Tanner has 8 fights on the year. Kastelic leads the NHL with 10 right now as we sit and record this episode. Tanner's right there behind Matthew Olivier and a couple of other guys. The kid in Tampa too, the Douglas kid. The difference between Tanner and I wouldn't put in Matthew, the 3 of them, Matthew Olivier, Tanner Jeannot, Mark Kastelic, because they all can play well. And they can play double-digit minutes. Matthew Olivier is having a phenomenal season too.
Absolutely.
The Kastelic Olivier fight. I mean, Kastelic again. I say this, and I say this respectfully. He's he just gets out there and he's looking to fight. He doesn't care, like a golden retriever. Now he's got one, so that's why he's just like happy to get after anybody, Razor, and it's mind-boggling to me, given how at least that's his appearance. I don't know what's going on in his head about it, but the guy is so quiet off the ice. He's so almost like, "Aw, shucks, no big deal." You're like, this is not the same guy that we see on the ice that is ferocious out there. It's this split personality. And that was a huge challenge against Matthew Olivier. That was a huge
he was good. He knew he was going to eat some. He knew it. And he went in there and stuck his nose in there. And again, that it wakes everybody up on the bench, and not because they're excited to watch guys punch each other in the face. It's because they know the sacrifice. It's like, if he's going to do that, I have to at least bring my shifts. I have to at least get in on the forecheck. I have to at least backtrack through the neutral zone as hard as I possibly can. All of those things go through your brain as a player watching that, knowing he's sacrificing that. That's what that is. And it was a perfect example in the first period. And again, they all knew after why they got back into that game.
That's great analysis right there. That says it perfectly, Razor. And you got to feel that as a goaltender. Now, I'm sure it's different for a goalie. Not that you don't sit there and say, I got to do my job more. Maybe you do. But for a skater, you can't look at those guys in the eye after that. If you don't pull up your straps, so to speak.
Yeah.
If they do that shit, you can't.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean you need to go fight. It means you need to go do exactly your job that much better, to your point.
Yeah, exactly. And as a goalie, it is different because the goalie, when those guys do it, you feel like they're with you now. Like, okay, these guys have got to me because I was anxious all day. I didn't sleep all day. I was ready for this game. I was nervous. I was into it. Left wingers, maybe not always that way. Those guys are, and now they're on your side. And now you're like, okay, now there's three of us doing everything we possibly can, no matter what, all the time. And now everybody else I know is going to get on board because of those guys.
Those guys, folks, and I think everybody listening or watching knows this and feels this, are so highly respected. No. They're both fantastic people. We've had Tanner on about a month ago or so, coming out of the Olympic break. Yeah. You got a chance just to listen and talk to them. He's been he's been really good. He's been better than really good. He's been great for this team this year. And Mark Kastelic, again, is just this nice, very quiet, but he's just a fun guy to talk to. But it's amazing how different of a personality he has when he gets, like, again, he seeks it out. You can tell when he's ready to go, Razor. He's got that look in him that you just see it go. And it's a different style than Tanner. I'd love to actually sit down with the two of them together with a microphone, kind of going back and forth, just about each of them analyzing the fights, maybe each other's fights, just because they do it so differently with how they approach it. Wanted to ask you this. Of the guys that you played with, I love putting you on the spot, but I'll do it slowly so you can think about it. Which were the guys, because you played with so many different guys, different era too. I get it. Yeah. Was there one or two guys, though, that really knew how to do it better? And I'm not just talking about actually throwing, but about the when and the who to go with.
The one guy, a couple of, so again, I had a different era. So there was always the big guys when I played that paired off. So I think kind of the secondary guys like Brendan Morrow in Dallas.
Yep. Okay, good.
He got Jamie Benn, those two guys in Dallas. I'll go through the teams that, when I was, you're here in Boston, it was Joe Thornton, right? When Joe got in, when he got angry, it was like, oh, that'll wake you
up time.
Yeah. Wade Belak was amazing in Toronto in that respect too. Vancouver was more like Rick Rippon because he wasn't as big as everybody else, and he got in there. So again, it's more about and nowadays it just doesn't happen as much. So when two guys do it back to back like that, and we've seen it against Montreal this year as well, it's just like it grabs your attention.
Again, phenomenal guys, folks, and I'm sure they make a lot of people very proud to be Boston Bruins fans, and they're just awesome people that
well, there's a lot of Bruins fans in Columbus. Boy, oh boy,
weren't there?
That was unbelievable down at that end, and yeah, all those Bruins fans proudly walked out of the rink with their jersey on that night.
And I have so much respect to your point about what those guys do. I cannot imagine it. Real quick, just to wrap that part up before we just do a couple more things here on this episode. Boston this year, 33 fights as a team.
Yeah.
Number 2, though, in the NHL. Can you guess the number 1? Because I didn't realize this. This surprised me a little bit, only because I don't know why. Probably because I just don't check out numbers like this. But you had some of the other teams when you mentioned before. I threw out a name of one player on the team who's been fighting a lot to give it away.
Well, I was going to go Tampa.
There you go.
Yeah.
Tampa has 40 fights. They lead the NHL. Now, this Curtis Douglas kid who's 6'8" or 6'9", something like that.
Like they've had 8 against Florida every game, right? They had Vasilevsky doing it against Bruins. They had a bunch there, right? So that's why I was thinking that.
But they've got the Liljeberg kid, the big Norwegian defenseman, although he's wearing a full cage now. Somebody must have gotten him, I think. He's been fighting a bit. Chernak's fought a bit. Douglas has 9 on the year. The difference between, well, in all fairness, Liljeberg plays regular shift, but Douglas doesn't. He's been an in-out of the lineup type guy. But your point also against Florida. I just thought it was interesting. But Boston is number 2 in the league. And last year, just for comparison's sake, throughout the season, they had a total of 30 in the regular season. Last year, guys like, Frederick was fighting. He didn't at start, and then he started. He fought a couple of times. Obviously, Kastelic was there. Zadorov scrap, just like he's done this year a couple of times too. So just some interesting numbers, just to give it again context and understanding. Let's switch to Charlie McAvoy, and then just a little more, and then we'll wrap up this one. Charlie McAvoy, goal and 2 assists in the last 3 games. Now in his last 14, Razor has 16 points on 6 goals, 10 assists. Yeah. Maybe the thing that I'm happiest about, though, in the last 14 games, as I look at the numbers, are his 34 shots on goal. So it's been over 2 shots on goal a game. I still get greedy, my friend, and I want 3 shots on goal a game from him. I just do. The more he shoots, the more everybody else is going to be open, right? It's just the way it works. Points in 12 of those last 14 games. In 12 of those last 14 games, I mean, he's been so dynamic out there. And let's go back to the 31st of December, the night that the Boston Bruins kind of changed their season with that win against the Edmonton Oilers. Since then, Razor, in 34 games, he has had 10 goals, 28 points, 28 assists, 38 points in 34 games. Yeah. So, and it's interesting, in those 34 games, 60 shots. So less than 2 per game. I wanted above 2 every game. Again, I'm going to get greedy and ask for 3. But what do you think has changed for Charlie McAvoy? Because this is point per game level that everybody's kind of been pining for. Yeah, out of him. We know he's healthy. That's a good place to start.
It is yes, exactly. That's a great place to start. I'm nervous to say the switch came on, but I think you just see in games, especially like last night when they're down, he's all over the place. Like, he just goes. I think he's had a solid partner through that time. I'm not sure that he'd had that at different times where, when Lowry's there, he had to play a little more conservative at times. I think he's got a partner now where he can really go. Mm-hmm. I think that's helped. Jonathan Asbro's helped him in feeling comfortable to go. But yeah, now so he's 10th now in defense scoring. He's got the least amount of shots from any defenseman, to your point, all the way to 22nd. Yeah. So the top 21 guys all have more shots than Charlie McAvoy. But when we talked about Charlie and being a Norris Trophy contender, it was, okay, he's got to be a point per game guy. He's there. I look at the guys in front of him, and they're having great years. Of course, the Bouchards and the Werenskis and the Makars of the world are probably the 3 guys that are going to be the 3 Norris guys. But after that, I'm looking at it, I'm saying it's probably Charlie next. And then if you add in just from December 31st, he'd move up even more. So it's changed his dynamic. He's always had this in him, and it feels like he's really feeling it.
Boy, does it ever. It's different though, right? Like he's
going.
It's different. Yeah. He's attacking, maybe he saw this as well at the Olympics, but he was doing this before the Olympics. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But you see some, whether it's the Werenskis, who's a hell of a defenseman.
I also wonder, now that I'm thinking about it a little bit, I also wonder if the man-on-man has freed him up in the defensive zone, in that he's comfortable the man-on-man now, but it also allows him to go. He's up a little higher at different times in the defensive zone. He's a little bit closer to the offensive net, the offensive zone at different times, where he recognizes opportunities more now that he's really got a grasp on this system.
I would think there's probably an element of that, but the other thing is also, I think, the encouragement from Steve Spott to be more aggressive on the power play. At times, I'd still like to see more. But I've said it numerous times here on our show and on Nesson, the Bruins are looking to move pucks quickly face-off wins on the power play, especially from the point with the utilization of Charlie McAvoy, whether it's a shot or a pass shot, right? Type of shot for like a Zacha tip type of thing and everything. So I think Spotter has insisted on him getting involved like that too. So maybe obviously all that together has helped increase the output. It's phenomenal to see. I mean, if you could, he's getting career high already in points. If you could get 60 points a year out of Charlie McAvoy, would you take that every year?
Oh, but that should be the floor.
That should be. Fair enough.
It really should be, I think, if he's healthy, of course.
All right, last thing. David Pastrnak, who didn't score yesterday. Oh, my God. Go figure, right?
Yeah.
92 points now in the season. Bruins have 8 games left. Perhaps all very important games. We assume he'll play in all of them. Who knows? Maybe in 5 games they win all and they're in and they can rest, guys. And I do think rest is going to be even more important this year, given the craziness of the schedule that we've experienced, right?
Yep.
Does he get to 100? Does he make it another 100-point year? You're thinking he does for sure, huh?
Yeah. He's gonna find his 8 points here for sure.
Do you think? I'm curious to see if he's a player that knows where he's at statistically. There's some guys that like it, that read it, and there's other guys that don't. I'm curious. If I get a chance to ask him, I'm going to say, I think he gets to 100. I don't think he blows by it. I mean, he's got some tough games coming up, but 8 points, 8 games. Why not? Right? I mean, it's not like he hasn't done it before.
Oh yeah. He's averaging 1.1 a game. So, and that's through different spells of quietness. So yeah, he'll find a way.
All right. That would be awesome. Again, to get to that 100-point mark again. What would that be? 3 years, 4 years in a row then?
Yeah.
For David?
Yeah.
All right. Bruins week and Morning Brew week ahead. Dallas, another Western Conference team, comes in tomorrow night, Tuesday night. Should be a fun game. Dallas is on a bit of a road trip here. Really interested to see how that one goes. Just because when we've been lauding Dallas and Colorado and Minnie as the 3 best teams in the league for 80%, 90% of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Bruins look to get I don't remember the score in Dallas before when they played there, but it wasn't good, if I remember correctly, much earlier in the season.
Yeah.
So they split the season series with Minnesota with that win Saturday. With Columbus right now, they're 1-1 against Columbus. They have one more game against them still.
No, they beat them at home. So they're 2-0 they're 2-0 and Columbus is 1-0-1.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's right. It was out of the break.
Olympics. Yep.
Thank you. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Where would I be without you? Again, too many numbers for this small brain of mine to handle. By the way, Boston against Buffalo. Am I right? They're 3-1 now. I think they're 3-1 against them.
2-1. They only played them 3 times this year.
Really?
Yeah, they only went to Buffalo, or they only had them once at home.
So that's right. Not every Atlanta
October,
team.
December, and this last one.
Okay.
Same with the Leafs. They only played the Leafs the 3 times, I think, too. Or was it Montreal? Anyways.
Can't remember.
Yeah.
All right. That should be that real signal at the end of the show that I screwed that all up pretty much. Anyways, I was trying to look up some numbers right before that. Real quick, something else is happening. I just want to put this out there. Apex Entertainment, who's been a part of our show, and they're involved with our Saturday show, Razor, EEI. On April 13th, they're hosting an autograph signing on Monday, April 13th with Megan Keller.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
If you have an opportunity to go out there, folks, and you want to, she's going to have her gold medal. Really cool event. Go check out. The place to go to check out is SureShotPromotions with an S.com, SureShotPromotions.com. But it's April 13th at Apex Entertainment, and go visit Megan Keller. That would be awesome. All right, for the week ahead, Bruins, Dallas, Tuesday. We're going to do a pre-brew before that, and then the Bruins hit the road again for 3 games? They go
4.
Tampa, Florida, Tampa, and then Philly.
And then Carolina.
Oh, and then Carolina afterwards. Okay, but for this week, we're going to do another episode after Thursday's game. Okay, a full episode after that. And then we'll have EEI on Saturday. And then we'll decide if we're doing a show after Sunday or not. But the next full episode, folks, is scheduled for Thursday after the Bruins go down to Florida to take on the Florida Panthers. All right, it's going to wrap up this heavy-duty, fully loaded Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. We had to get it all in 3 games, a lot of stuff to cover. Bruins go 3-0. They're, 90% right now? But I don't get these the probabilities. I understand them, but I don't. You know what I mean?
I get where they, but yeah,
come on. It doesn't take.
I kind of poo-poo them.
Exactly. But the Bruins are in a good spot. They're in a good spot. If they go 500 the rest of the way, they're in the playoffs. That we can tell you. All right. We'll talk to you in a couple of days. Thanks for listening. Everybody enjoy your coffee.